Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another STAMPtember exclusive. Today we have a two company release again with Greeting Farm and Clearly Besotted. The Greeting Farm stamp set is called Sweater Weather and Clearly Besotted is Sending Sunshine. And I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to create some platform pop-up cards with the Lawn Fawn dies. Platform Pop-Up is one of my all-time favorite interactive dies, and you can use it with any of your favorite companies. I know that I have heard from quite a few of you this month that you have really been looking forward to some of these releases that are coming the second half of STAMPtember. Clearly Besotted is so cute with all these cute little flower critters. And then the Greeting Farm always brings us such darling images. This little girl is so cute. So two completely different style images, I guess, if you will, but they both can be used with the Platform Pop-Up, which I absolutely love. This really cute little grassy floral border here, completely a happy accident, but I realized, and I did check it before I stamped it, is the same width or pretty much the same width as the layering pieces for the Platform Pop-Up. That means that when we put this in our Platform Pop-Up, it can serve as one of the layers. I'm not going to die cut the sun. I do have the benefit of that because I am using the Brothers Scan and Cut to cut my images today. I didn't have the dies yet for this. There are dies that you can buy. So as always with STAMPtember collaborations, they are limited edition exclusive, available while supplies last, and there's a stamp die combo and then a stamp only. So it really kind of just depends on what you're interested in. If you guys have a scan and cut, if you like fussy cutting, if you like masking, then you might want just the stamp set. If you prefer having the coordinating dies always, then the stamp die combo. But remember, when these stamp sets are gone, they're gone. Now, my goal with my STAMPtember videos all month long is to kind of show ideas that could be used with anything you have. So maybe you have other Clearly Besotted sets, or any of your favorite sets, Mama Elephant, Lawn Fawn, Avriel, whatever, any MFT, any of those sets that have cute critters, let's say, and you want to make a Platform Pop-Up, you can do that. Maybe you have other Greeting Farm stamp sets and you want to mix and match, those images with maybe this new set or just on their own. They also work with the Platform Pop-Up. So you're not limited to just using what you see here in the video. I want to encourage you to look at your stash, look at the products you have, and see if you can create something like this. Platform Pop-Ups, I'm hoping to take the scary factor out of it if you haven't made one. If you have and you love it, hopefully it just encourages you to look at your stash and see what you can make with it. I did stamp all of my images on Neenah 110-pound weight smooth white cardstock with Hero Arts INTENS-IFIED black ink. I'm coloring in my images with Copic markers. Those marker color combinations are listed down in the description below the video here on YouTube. One of the cards probably doesn't need to be fall themed. I tried to go maybe a little more fall with my flower colors, like kind of almost like mums, but not really. Maybe, you know, I don't know. I just colored them in like pinks, reds, yellows, and purples. That was kind of what I was feeling. And then obviously the Greeting Farm is a little more fall themed. Now, something great about this is neither one of these sets is Christmas. There are quite a few Christmas releases in STAMPtember, which is pretty natural and normal as we are nearing the fourth quarter of the year, and we're starting to see a lot of the holiday releases from our favorite designers. So that is kind of normal, but I always love when collaborators bring in something In the case of Clearly Besotted, this stamp set could be used year round. And then the fall set from the Greeting Farm, I think they do fall quite a bit. I remember it's been maybe 3 or 4 years ago now. They had another fall set that was one of my favorites. I believe it was like called Pumpkin Spice even. But I love that one too. So I just love seeing some other themes and occasions other than the holidays for the collaborations, and these are a couple of great ones. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't like the Christmas releases, because I absolutely do. I have been kind of going tag crazy with the Christmas releases, or a few of them this STAMPtember, and probably a couple more, or at least one more before the month is over. But it's just nice to see a variety. I did, like I say, did kind of bright colors. The critters I kept pretty neutral. The little chick or duck or whatever it is was kind of my favorite. Coloring did take a little bit of time. Start to finish, these cards took about 2 hours in real time. The coloring took the majority of that time. I did prep and pre-die cut everything for the platform pop-up prior to coloring and to assembly, which was very easy. We're not doing like any inking or stenciling or anything crazy. I went for all cardstock. I'm going to use some textured dot and textured cardstock from Fawn for our platform pop-up bases today. And just by kind of being very intentional with my color choices for that, it allowed me not to have to do a whole lot extra. I'm really letting the images speak for themselves. We are going to move on to the Greeting Farm images. I'm going to use my favorite color combination for the pumpkins. You could do the pumpkins in all different colors. Kind of after I started, I thought that might have been kind of fun. And maybe to have thrown in an aqua pumpkin would have been kind of fun. I didn't, so we're going with it, which is totally fine. I am going to do a blue banner around those pumpkins though. Now, one of my favorite things to do in platform pop-ups or any kind of pop-up card is some floating elements. I don't have any floating elements really in the Clearly Besotted card. Oh yes, I do. Scratch that. I forgot. I'm going to float some clouds. But in the Greeting Farm card, we are going to float fall leaves, almost like it's windy all the way around, which I thought was kind of cute and fun. So it's just a great way. Something great about these, if you're sending this card to, let's say, a kid at college, a coworker, a girlfriend, a sister, whatever the case may be. If you're sending a card to them, they can display it. Let's say like they want to display it at work, they can set it on their desk, or they can display it at home on a mantle or maybe a kitchen counter or something like that, because they stand up. And not just the way, you stand up a card. It is an interactive pop-up card. It has a little platform. It has a little scene. It just really, to me, is so special and fun. And then the most fantastic thing, when it's folded down, and as long as you kind of stay within the parameter of the A2 size card, you can put this in a standard A2 envelope and mail it, which is absolutely brilliant. No special mailer is required. These two particular cards today are pretty, I don't want to say flat, because obviously they pop up, so there is some layer, but there's not so much to them. They go in an envelope very easily. And even with that, they're absolutely amazing. The images speak for themselves. They're so super cute. So for the Clearly Besotted platform pop-up, I am going to add the backer, the platform pop-up add-on. For the Greeting Farm, I'm not, and it's really going to highlight the fact that the leaves are like, I really wanted it to feel like a blustery fall day where the leaves are kind of, blowing in the wind or whatever. And then the little heart we're going to pop up in the background or have floating up in the background. I'm imagining that she is me loving fall because I love fall. So that was kind of my inspiration, I suppose, for coloring her. And then I did pick the little mouse from the stamp set. I think I only stamped 4 of the critters and the border from the Clearly Besotted set. There's actually 6. That is amazing. For a nice little small stamp set. For the greeting farm, I did not stamp the cat. There's another leaf image. There's like the little dotted image so that you can give the leaves movement if you want. And then there's like a little to-go coffee cup. So I didn't stamp everything from that either. And then there's a couple of other sentiments that are lovely. So I'm going to add a few little highlights, and then we will run over to the Brother Scan and Cut that has taken up permanent residence on my kitchen table. I don't leave mine out in my office full time, so I had to find somewhere, and usually I put it away after every time because I don't use it this much, but I use it every day during STAMPtember. So we are going to die cut everything. You can see it there on a little peek of it on my table. I have my first platform pop-up. So let's put together the Clearly Besotted card first. You need 2 pieces of the base of the platform pop-up. This is some of the green textured cardstock from Lawn Fawn. I am using some red tape from Simon Says Stamp. It is super, super strong and sticky. I recommend if you're going to do an interactive card, use a really good adhesive of some sort. I tend to prefer a tape adhesive rather than liquid. Liquid can be messy and can maybe stick something together you don't want together, but it'll work in a pinch. But I really do like double-sided adhesive that is super sticky, and this red tape fits the bill. So I kind of go with my bone folder, make sure all of the seams are nice and creased. Then you're going to put one of those T's through one side. You've got adhesive on that little piece that scores at the end. I call them letter T's, but it's the insert for your platform pop-up. And then you fold that up and bend it. And then you remove that other piece of backing and fold it up and adhere that. Now, before I do that, I am going to put some skinnier double-sided adhesive on this layer. This is something you could do later, but I have found over the last few months putting together these platform pop-ups, I prefer to go ahead and do that now while it's flat. So I'm removing that tape and then folding that side up. And literally, that's as easy as it is to put together one side of the platform pop-up. Now, while this is flat, I did die cut 2 layers of grass, not 3. We have 3 of these little layers that go in the platform pop-up, but I am only going to need 2 because remember, one of those images from Clearly Besotted fits on that little space, or that layer, which I think is great. So I am scoring the entire second half of my platform pop-up box. And this green is amazing. I picked green for my box. I felt like it kind of looked like grass, which is what I wanted. And then we're going to do a nice aqua for the backer for the sky. So we have some tape on the tab. We have tape on the end of one of our letter T's. On the other one, you cut off from the score line to the end, and then you put adhesive just on the bottom part. So you'll see why here in a second if you've never put one of these together before. Oops, let's put it together correctly. So now you're going to slide that through the little slot. You're going to remove the backing paper from the end of your little insert, fold it down and secure it. Then you're going to remove this next little piece and you're going to fold it up again, and the second half of your box is put together. Now we need to put the 2 halves together. I'm also going to put some double-sided adhesive on this layer while it's flat, and this is the back layer, which is where our grass is going to go. And so I'm just gonna kind of straighten that up. Let me trim that with my scissors real quick. And look, it fits almost perfectly. I absolutely was thrilled when I saw that this fit on the back like that. Now on one half of the box, it doesn't matter which, you want to take that remaining layering piece. And that is going to be sandwiched between the two halves. So we don't need the part from the score line to the bottom. That's why you trim that off. Then you take the backing paper off the adhesive and you simply adhere it to that one side. I'm going to put my skinny double-sided adhesive on that layer. And I'm going to go ahead and put the last grass layer here. And then we can put the two halves of our platform pop-up together. I know it feels like a lot of little steps, but as far as an interactive card goes, I think this is one of the easiest. It's also one of the most show-stopping, in my opinion. Now on one half of the box, and again, it doesn't matter which one, I tend to kind of probably go overboard, but I'm going to put double-sided adhesive because we're going to sandwich the two sides together. And this is going to keep our box together, or our platform pop-up. And I'm using the tip of my scissors to kind of grab that and pull it up and hopefully keep my fingers out of the adhesive as much as possible. And then I'm going to line them up. And then we can remove the backing paper from those remaining two tabs and secure the sides of the box. And that is it, you guys. Your platform pop-up is put together. Now from here, you can add all kinds of layering things. The platform pop-up comes with a bow that wraps around the box. We're going to use that for the greeting farm. There's an add-on set that creates a backer. There's a new add-on that was just released for even more ideas. This is the original add-on, and I like it if you want to create like a sky or a backdrop for your platform pop-up. So I'm going to show you both ways. This first card will have that, the second card won't. I like to put a nice little thin line of double-sided adhesive on the back of that after I have reinforced the score lines. You slide it right in the back of your platform pop-up box, and then I fold it flat to really press it down well. And just like that. I did die cut the sun. This is from the platform pop-up add-on. There is a sun in that stamp set, and if you buy the stamp die combo, I am sure that the sun die cuts with that. Well, I'm not sure, but I'm almost sure. But because I had the benefit of using the scan and cut, I just eliminated that from the stamping and the die cutting. Also in the platform pop-up is this great little stitched rectangle. I am going to use it. It's the perfect size for a sentiment from that clearly Besotted set. So right now, all I'm doing is kind of reevaluating what all I have, seeing what I want to add to my card, and then I can go ahead and start assembling. So I am going to just take a little bit of glue. Reverse tweezers are fantastic here, the little clamp. I call them a clamp. And then just a little glue on the bottom, and then you can put all of your components on whichever layer you want and secure them. So you will notice our back layer, of course, is that grassy border. The middle layer, I have a critter, a flower in the center, and then I've got the final two on the front on either side. So when you're looking at it from the front, you can kind of see all of them at one glance. Then I've got some acetate, what I call acetate picks. This is leftover little acetate pieces from another project, but I save them because they are the perfect way to create floating elements within your box. And so what I'm going to do, I always leave them long. I put glue dots on them. Glue dots aren't messy, there's no dry time, and I secure it to the whichever layer I want to. I adhere what I want to float. In this case, it's going to be these die cut clouds from the Lawn Fawn platform pop-up add-on. And then I adhere the cloud and I simply snip off any of the excess acetate. Wow, say that 3 times fast. And you can save it for another project or for another pick. And then you've got floating clouds. They are so, so cute. Now, I thought our little sunshine in the back, you guys guessed it, needed a little red heart. I thought it was the perfect little accent back there. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. Now we're going to take that stitched rectangle. I die cut it from the same cardstock that I used for the platform pop-up backer. I'm going to prep it with a powder tool that I think still needs powder added to it. and I am going to stamp it with clear embossing ink, heat emboss with white embossing powder, heat set this, and we can glue this or adhere this right to the front of our box. On the back of your box, if you want, you could always die cut a rectangle or a shape, and that is a great place to like write a little message to your recipient. I am not doing that for my samples today, but normally that's what I do, is I just take some sort of a rectangle die and pop it right on the back of the box. You can decorate the sides of the box, the back, the backer we put on, the sides of that. You could decorate all the way around the perimeter of your platform pop-up. There are other stitch rectangles that fit the sides. Literally, the sky is the limit here. I'm going pretty simple with mine today, and see, I think this little guy fits right next to my sentiment. Now, I do want to make sure that the glue is only on the portion where that score line is not, so that it folds nice and flat and I don't glue him to the box. I'm going to use my tweezers to hold him in place, and while that's drying, I'm going to put some little dots on either side of the little front part of my box, and I'm just going to decorate it with some little red hearts. I had a few more out on my desk, and I thought, you know what? I love little hearts on my box. I've done this before with the platform pop-up for different cards, and I love how it looks. Really simple and easy, but you could add maybe some of those other floral images from the Clearly Besotted set and kind of keep building your flower garden even along this edge. And just like that, it pops up. I've got to add my last little heart here. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. How fun is that, you guys? And this is going to work with any of your little stamp sets like this. So if you have something in your stash and you have been wanting to try a platform pop-up, I promise it's easy, it's addicting, and you are going to want to make all of the platform pop-up boxes. Let's go ahead and make our greeting farm box. So this one I did maybe a little bit more of what I would call bright pastels. Well, brights, not pastels. I don't know. This one is definitely more of the autumn theme. So I went more with an olivey green, and we are going to do that ribbon, that little bow around the front of the box that I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to show the assembly of the platform pop-up again. I always start with the bone folder and reinforce those score lines. I feel that it just starts you off on the right foot. It's almost like when you are a quilter and you should always iron before you cut your fabric, whatever. I feel like it's kind of the same thing. It just sets you up for success. So I always take my bone folder. I always score those lines because it just helps. Now you'll notice that because I've already put one together, I'm probably going to combine some steps. So on one half of the box, I'm already putting that double-sided adhesive so that I can put my box together, things like that. The more of these that you put together, the more you get comfortable and maybe can kind of shortcut some of the steps. Well, not totally, but if I can put adhesive while I have my adhesive roll out on something, I try to do that. And again, you want to slide that little T through that slot, remove the backing paper, fold that down and secure it. Remove the backing paper from this little flap, fold it up one more time, and secure. And you're going to do that for both halves of the box. Now for this one, I did not have a border, a stamped border like I did for the Clearly Besotted box. So I did die cut 3 layers of grass. Now you could do these from a contrasting color. You do not have to do the same color, and you don't have to do grass. There's also like a little sloped hill in the platform pop-up. So you have a couple of options. I kind of like the grass for both of the cards I made today, so that was my option. And I did want the bottom of both of my platform pop-ups, or the base, I guess I should say, of the platform pop-up to kind of look like grass. And I matched my cardstock color to the colors that I use to color in my images. Even though these are completely different, you can see that assembly of the box is the same. It's just how you want to decorate it, what colors you want to use for the box. Maybe you want to ink, maybe you want to use pattern paper. To be quite honest, I was going to use pattern paper, but I didn't have enough of it to use for the box I wanted to use it for. So I went to cardstock, and then I was super glad I did, because I do feel that it really does help kind of highlight the stamped images. So we're putting together that second half of the box. And you can add your layers after you've put the platform pop-up together. I do want to kind of reiterate that. I do it now because I like to add the tape while it's flat. So you'll notice a lot of times me adding the little 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive to those while it is flat. And the tip of your scissors, or a Spellbinder's tool-in-one, or some other kind of piercing sharp tool is fantastic for getting your backing paper off of your different components. To jazz up the cardstock, I used just a tiny bit. I used textured cardstock and textured dot cardstock from Fawn. Just kind of as a side note, I love these cardstocks. I need to get more. I have been using them a ton lately. I like it because if you're not going to use pattern paper, it does add just a little bit of texture and interest without having to, stencil or stamp or pattern paper or whatever. I kind of love it. So in real life, it has some really awesome texture. Okay, we're going to put this box together. Now for this one, once we have the sides together, our box is done. We can embellish. We are going to add our components for inside. We're going to leave the back open. You do not have to add a backer. The platform pop-up comes just like this as is. And I'm going to put my girl down first. She's kind of my focal point. She is going to go on the middle layer. The back layer is really only going to be used to add the acetate picks with flying leaves and like a heart. Then I'm going to add my pumpkins to that front. That's where our greeting is. I want that kind of in the foreground so that the recipient can read it. Then the sides, I'm going to use the thicker 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive. You could die cut this 4 times. I only die cut it twice. And I'm going to put it around the front of the box, but if you want it to go all the way around, you could. It doesn't quite meet up, so you might want to, do something, in the back of the box to make it meet up. But the bow hides it in the front. And I did this out of orange, give you all the fallish vibes, kind of match our pumpkins. And that 1/4 inch double-sided adhesive is just like the perfect width for these. Okay, and there it's wrapped around, and you can see that little spot. I'm going to put a little glue, and we're just going to build the bow. Isn't she cute? I know my Greeting Farm fans are going to love picking up this stamp set. She's cute. And then the little mouse, I'm going to have him hanging out. I kind of played around with it, but ultimately I decided to put him right here next to the pumpkins. I've got my little acetate strips. I call them acetate picks, but they're just little thin pieces of acetate here. And I'm going to be adhering these to all the different layers. And so there on the back layer, that is really going to be a great place for the leaves and things that I want swirling around our scene. So we're going to use glue dots. And we are going to, I did this one too close and it's right behind the pumpkins and you can't see it. So I am going to move this over a little bit, which you'll see in the finished card. Luckily, because it's not liquid adhesive, it was pretty easy to move. Lots of decision making going on. And I feel like the acetate floating items make a pop-up card, in my opinion, because it just makes it so cute. Look at it. It looks like a blustery fall day, doesn't it? So much fun. Glue our little mouse there. We'll add our last leaf to that front border. So we've got 3 floating leaves. I am going to grab another acetate pick and I want my heart kind of floating up in the back to finish that off. And then I did opt to do a little coffee bean Trinity stamp heart in the center of my bow to dress it up. We will do one more thing to dress up the side of the box. So you can see that long, tall acetate pick in the back. We just want to make sure our heart is sticking up high enough that we can see it. And oh my gosh, I love it. So, so fun. Around the front of the box now, I am going to take some Pretty Pink Posh gold pearls and we're just going to kind of gives it like a little riveted look. Dress it up just a little bit. You can dress it up with all kinds of different things. I thought this added just a nice little finishing touch to the design. And I'm using the medium size. And then it just folds flat. And you can pop it right up. So, so cute. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 2 platform pop-up cards featuring the STAMPtember 2022 Clearly Besotted and Greeting Farm stamp sets. The supplies I use to create my cards are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here is another video featuring Simon Says Stamp STAMPtember limited edition products that you might be interested in. I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my Patreon members. If you would like to become a member of Patreon, please click the link in the description below. We would love to see you over there as part of our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to always be notified when I have a new card making video. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.